Lihim Hukbo, Shadows over Latvikan. Chapter 1. The Call from Latvikan. The crystalline waters of the Philippine Sea glittered under a relentless sun, a deceptive mirror hiding the immense, humming complex beneath. Inside the heart of the citadel, the nerve center of Lihim Hukbo, Commander Diwa Kamaliga surveyed the holographic globe pulsating with data streams. Tiny crimson flares marked conflicts, brushfire wars, insurgencies, terrorist hotspots, the constant background noise of a world perpetually on the edge. His lean frame, clad in the sleek matte black tactical uniform of the Hukbo, radiated calm authority. Dark eyes, sharp and intelligent, scanned the displays, missing nothing. Around him, his elite team operated consoles with practiced efficiency. Lieutenant Cara Spectra Mendoza, the cyber warfare savant, Sergeant Jet Bulwark Reyes, the hulking demolitions expert, and Corporal Maya Striker Lim, the agile infiltration specialist. "Commander," Cara announced, her voice crisp. "Priority Alpha signal, encrypted channel White Dove. Origin, Latvikan." Diwa's brow furrowed slightly. Latvikan, a small neutral nation nestled between powerful neighbors, renowned for its ancient universities and serene landscapes. Their motto was etched on their embassy gates: Pax per sapientium, peace through wisdom. An alpha signal was rare. It meant an existential threat. "Patch it through, Spectra. Secure the line." The main hollow tank shimmered, resolving into the grim faces of two individuals. The man, ramrod straight despite the worry lines etching his face, wore the impeccably tailored uniform of a Latvikan general. Beside him stood a woman, major's insignia gleaming, her dark hair pulled back severely, yet unable to hide the striking intensity of her eyes or the tense set of her jaw. "Commander Kanaliga," the general began, his voice carrying the weight of impending doom. "I am General Aris White. This is Major Alara Astral. We come to you on behalf of the Free Council of Latvikan. We are besieged." Diva inclined his head. "General White, Major Astral, your reputation precedes you." Lihim Hukbo listens. "What threatens Latvikan's peace?" General White gestured helplessly. "Duke Silas Guerrera, a warlord, formerly a disgraced general from the neighboring Republic of Viridia. He has amassed a formidable mercenary force, the Iron Fist, bolstered by stolen Viridian heavy armor and advanced weaponry. He crossed our northern border 3 days ago under the guise of liberating ethnic Viridians. Lies. He seeks our mineral wealth, the rare kyberite deposits, beneath the serene peaks." Major Astral's voice cut in, clear and urgent. "He moves with brutal efficiency, Commander. His forces bypassed our border forts using subterranean drills we didn't know existed. They've seized key infrastructure in the Aridus Plains, the Aqueduct Nexus, and the Solar Array Complex. Without water and power, our cities will fall within weeks. Our standing army is valiant but outgunned, out-teched. Guerrera broadcasts constant threats. He demands unconditional surrender." Diwa steepled his fingers. "Viridia's stance? Officially? Denial and condemnation," General White spat. "Unofficially? We suspect elements within their military complex supplied Guerrera. They deny Latvikan sovereignty over the Kyberite fields. They want him to do their dirty work, then sweep in as peacekeepers to claim the spoils. We are caught between the hammer and the anvil, Commander." Lihim Hukbo operated in the shadows, funded by a clandestine consortium of nations valuing stability over public recognition. Their mandate was clear: intervene where conventional forces couldn't, where politics failed, to prevent catastrophic conflicts. But Latvikan was a political minefield. Officially aiding them could be seen as an act of war against Viridia, potentially igniting a wider regional conflict. Diwa felt the familiar weight of the impossible choice. He met Major Astral's gaze. Her eyes held a fierce determination, but beneath it, a flicker of desperation, a plea for the innocents caught in Guerrera's path. There was an instant connection, a spark of shared purpose that bypassed the complexities of geopolitics. He saw the fire in her, the unwavering commitment to her people that mirrored his own oath. "The political calculus is fraught, General," Diwa stated carefully. Viridia has powerful allies on the Security Council. Any overt action by Lihim Hukbo could be disastrously misinterpreted. Astral leaned forward, her intensity palpable even through the hologram. Commander Kanaliga, Latvikan has no powerful allies, only principles. We chose neutrality, not weakness. We chose wisdom, not war. But Guerrero respects neither. He respects only force. If Lihim Hukbo stands for freedom, for stopping aggression, look at the aggression happening now. Her voice softened, barely a whisper, yet it resonated in the sudden quiet of the citadel. Children are hiding in basements. Farmers are being driven from land their families have tilled for centuries. Our pax is being shattered by the fist. Her words, her passion struck Diwa. He saw not just a strategic objective, but a fundamental injustice unfolding. His mandate wasn't just about preventing large-scale wars. It was about defending the vulnerable against overwhelming tyranny, precisely where others turned a blind eye. He stood, his decision solidifying. General White, Major Astral, Lihim Hukbo does not stand by while bullies crush the defenseless. Politics be damned. We accept your request. Relief washed over the Latvikans' faces. Astral's eyes locked with Diwa's, a silent current of profound gratitude passing between them. Prepare the full operational brief, Diwa commanded. We need schematics of the occupied facilities, known enemy dispositions, terrain analysis, everything. We deploy in 12 hours. 12 hours, General White stammered. Time is a luxury Guerrera has stolen from you, General, Diwa replied, a steely edge entering his voice. We move fast. Spectra, initiate silent shadow protocols. Mask all Citadel emissions. Bulwark, prep the Goliath APCs and the Skyhawk VTOL. Striker, full infiltration kit desert variant. We're going to the Aridus Plains. As the connection terminated, Diwa turned back to his team. The holographic globe still pulsed, but now a single intense red flare burned over Latvikan. Kara, Jet, and Maya looked at him, ready. Lihim Hukbo has a new mission, Diwa declared. We liberate Latvikan, we stop Duke Guerrera, and we remind the world what happens when shadows choose to stand in the light. Chapter 2. Desert Thunder and Betrayal. The Skyhawk VTOL sliced through the thin, cold air high above the Aridus Plains, its advanced stealth systems rendering it a ghost against the star-strewn velvet of the night sky. Below, the vast Latvikan desert stretched, a monochrome sea of sand and rock shimmering under the moonlight, broken only by the harsh, angular shapes of the aqueduct nexus and the sprawling mirrored panels of the solar array complex, both now crawling with the Iron Fist's insignia. Inside the pressurized cabin, the air hummed with controlled tension. Diwa, clad in his full black combat gear with subtle silver accents, reviewed holographic overlays projected from his wrist gauntlet. Kara monitored encrypted Latvikan comms and enemy chatter, her fingers dancing across a holographic keyboard. Jet meticulously checked the magnetic clamps on his shoulder-mounted micro-missile launcher. Maya adjusted the optics on her sleek, silent sniper rifle, her movements economical and precise. Final checks, Diwa ordered, his voice calm over the internal comms. Spectra, status on the Nexus security grid? Ghost protocol is active, Commander, Kara confirmed. Their external sensors see only static feedback loops. Internal cameras are on a 30-second recorded loop. We have a clean window. Bulwark, charges, APC busters and sonic emitters primed and ready, Commander, Jet rumbled, patting the heavy pack beside him. One big boom for the armor, one nasty surprise for the infantry. Striker, infiltration path? Clear vector to the central control hub confirmed, Maya replied softly. Thermals show minimal patrol overlap. I'll be a whisper. Diwa nodded. Primary objective. Sever Guerrera's control. Striker disables the Nexus main pumps. Spectra, once she's in, hack their comms, isolate command structure. Feed them disinformation. Bulwark, you're on perimeter disruption. Draw their fire, make it messy. Secondary objective. Recon the solar array. We suspect it's their primary staging area. Eyes on Guerrera's command setup if possible. Avoid direct engagement unless compromised. We hit hard, fast, and vanish. A chime sounded. Approaching drop zone alpha. Prepare for Halo insertion, the Skyhawk's AI intoned. The rear ramp hissed open, unleashing a roar of wind and a blast of frigid air. One by one, silhouetted against the moonlit desert far below, they stepped into the void. Diwa felt the exhilarating rush of freefall, the world a blur until his chute deployed with a sharp crack, slowing his descent into a silent glide towards the shadowed dunes near the aqueduct nexus. Landing was soft, the sand swallowing the impact. Within minutes, the team regrouped, their black gear blending seamlessly with the night. Maya melted into the shadows, heading towards the complex's access vents. Jet moved with surprising stealth for his size towards a pre-designated overlook bristling with sensor towers. Diwa and Kara crouched behind a dune ridge overlooking the main gate, watching the patrol patterns. Striker in position, Maya's voice whispered in their earpieces, entering ventilation shaft. Bulwark in place, Jet reported. Got a lovely view of their toy tanks. Minutes ticked by, tense and silent. Then, Maya's voice again, tight with urgency. Commander, control hub secured. But I found something. Data logs. There was a transmission to Viridian High Command after Guerrera invaded. Encrypted, high level, origin signature. It matches General White's secure terminal. Diwa's blood ran cold. Betrayal. Are you certain, Striker? Positive, Commander. Time-stamped just hours before he contacted us. He sold out his own people. The implications slammed into Diwa. White hadn't just been desperate. He'd been complicit, likely under Viridian pressure or promises. He'd led Lihim Hukbo into a trap, using Astral's genuine plea as bait. Where was Astral? Was she part of it? The thought felt like a physical blow, clashing violently with the connection he'd felt. Suddenly, klaxons blared, shattering the desert silence. Powerful searchlights snapped on, bathing the area in blinding white light. The static on their comms dissolved into panicked Latvican voices mixed with harsh, Viridian-accented commands. Kara cursed. Ghost protocol breached. They had a secondary non-networked alarm. I'm locked out. Striker, abort. Get out now, Diwa ordered. Too late. The complex doors burst open, disgorging Iron Fist troops. Heavy treads ground on sand as armored personnel carriers rolled out. From Jet's position came the thunderous roar of his launcher and the satisfying crunch of an APC's turret being obliterated. Perimeter's hot, Commander! Bringing the noise, Jet yelled, his sonic emitter unleashing a visible wave of distortion that sent troops clutching their ears and staggering. Fall back to rally point, Beta, Diwa commanded, drawing his twin photon pistols. They pulsed with blue energy as he laid down covering fire, bolts searing into advancing troops. Spectra, jam everything. Buy Striker time. Kara worked frantically. Jamming active, but they're using old-school landlines for coordination. It's slowing them, not stopping. Maya emerged from a side vent, sprinting towards them, ducking laser fire. White's compromised. They knew we were coming. They fought a desperate retreat towards the dunes where their signature vehicles were concealed under adaptive camouflage tarps. Jet provided devastating covering fire, his strength allowing him to wield a heavy plasma cannon one-handed. Maya picked off pursuers with chilling accuracy. Diwa moved like a phantom, his pistol spitting precise energy bursts, his mind racing. They reached the vehicles just as a heavier Viridian tank rounded a dune, its main cannon glowing. Move! Diwa yelled. With a whine of powerful electric motors, the camouflage tarps were thrown aside, revealing Lihim Hukbo's arsenal. Two gleaming Valkyrie laser motorcycles hummed to life, their front forks housing powerful emitters. The hulking Goliath APC, its armored hide shimmering, rammed through a smaller dune to provide cover. Diwa and Kara leapt onto the Valkyries. Maya scrambled into the Goliath's turret, manning the heavy pulse laser. Jet piled into the driver's seat. Hang on to your helmets, kids. Desert cruise time. The Goliath surged forward, kicking up a massive plume of sand. The Valkyrie shot ahead like silver arrows. Diwa leaned low over his handlebars, weaving through laser blasts. He squeezed the handlebar trigger. A searing blue beam lanced out, slicing through the tank's treads, immobilizing it. Eat photon, tin can! Kara followed suit, her beam disabling a pursuing technical. They raced across the moonlit desert, a whirlwind of light and sound. Enemy vehicles gave chase, lasers crisscrossing the night. Maya's turret fire picked them off one by one. Diwa felt the adrenaline, the pure kinetic thrill of speed and power, pushing aside the sting of betrayal for now. They needed to reach the solar array, find Astral, and uncover the truth. As they crested a dune, the vast mirrored expanse of the solar array complex came into view, heavily fortified and crawling with activity. And parked prominently near a command tent was a heavily customized, menacing Black Valkyrie Duke Guerrera's personal ride. "Looks like the Duke is home," Diwa muttered, gunning his engine. "Time to crash his party." The desert chase was on, a prelude to the storm gathering at the heart of Guerrera's stolen power. Chapter 3. Skyfire Escape. The solar array complex sprawled before them like a futuristic fortress plopped onto an ancient seabed. Acres of mirrored solar panels formed a shimmering, disorienting plain, reflecting the harsh dawn light. Guard towers bristled with sensors and heavy weapons. Patrols of Iron Fist troops and light armor crisscrossed designated paths between the panel fields. At the complex's heart stood a cluster of hardened command bunkers and a large landing pad, dominated by Duke Guerrera's command tent and his menacing black-chromed Valkyrie motorcycle. Diwa brought his own Valkyrie to a halt behind a dune ridge overlooking the complex, Kara pulling up beside him. The Goliath APC rumbled to a stop nearby, its armored bulk providing cover. Maya scanned the defenses through her rifle scope while Jet monitored sensor feeds inside the APC. "Fortified like a Viridian treasury vault," Jet grumbled over the comms. "Heavy energy shields on the bunkers, overlapping auto turrets, patrols on thermal sweep patterns. Not a walk in the park, Commander." Diwa studied the layout, his mind calculating angles, vulnerabilities, and the chilling fact of General White's betrayal. Where was Astral? Was she a prisoner, or... He pushed the doubt aside. Justice demanded answers. Primary objective remains: disrupt Guerrera's command and disable the array's power distribution. Secondary objective: locate and extract Major Astral. Tertiary: acquire proof of Viridian involvement and White's betrayal. Bulwark, we need a distraction. Something loud. Jet's grin was audible. "I've just the thing, Commander. Packed a little present called a seismic quaker. Should make their teeth rattle nicely. Detonating. Now." A deep subterranean whump vibrated through the sand. On the far eastern perimeter of the array, a massive geyser of sand and debris erupted, followed by the collapse of a guard tower and secondary generator complex. Klaxons wailed, different from the Nexus alarms, deeper, more urgent. Searchlights swung wildly towards the explosion. Troops scrambled. Vehicles roared into motion. "Go! Go! Go!" Diwa commanded. The Valkyries shot forward, skimming low over the sand, weaving through the forest of mirrored panel supports. The Goliath charged towards the main access road, Maya's turrets spewing suppressing fire that forced enemy troops to duck for cover. Diwa and Kara split up, using the reflective panels to their advantage, their laser cannons flashing not just at troops, but strategically targeting power conduits running between the panels. Small explosions bloomed, showering sparks and smoke. "Cutting his juice, one cable at a time," Kara yelled, executing a sharp slide turn that sprayed sand into a squad of soldiers. Diwa spotted Guerrera's command tent. Guards were forming a perimeter. He accelerated, leaning into a turn that brought him parallel to the tent. He fired a sustained burst from his bike's cannon, stitching a line of molten holes across the tent's fabric wall. Through the gap, he saw a flash of dark hair, bound hands. Astral! She was struggling against two burly guards near a comms console. Guerrera, a tall, scarred man in ornate black armor, was barking orders, pointing towards the disturbance. Their eyes met for a split second. Astral's filled with a desperate plea, Guerrera's with furious recognition. Diwa didn't hesitate. He braked hard, spinning the Valkyrie in a cloud of sand, and leapt off before it fully stopped, photon pistols drawn. He charged through the torn tent flap. "Party's over, Guerrera. Lihim Hukbo's sending regrets." Chaos erupted. Diwa moved like lightning. A precise bolt dropped one guard holding Astral. The other lunged. Diwa sidestepped, delivering a crushing elbow strike. He grabbed Astral, slicing her bonds with a monomolecular blade from his gauntlet. Diwa! White! He betrayed us all, she gasped. Know all about it, Diwa said, shoving her towards the tent entrance. Go! Kara's outside! Guerrera roared, drawing an oversized plasma pistol. Canaliga, I'll mount your head on my Valkyrie. He fired wildly. Diwa pushed Astral clear, diving behind a heavy console as searing plasma melted the spot where he'd stood. Outside, Kara pulled up on her Valkyrie. Major, hop on! Astral scrambled onto the bike behind her. Kara peeled away, lasers blazing at converging enemies. Diwa traded shots with Guerrera from behind cover. The tent was filling with smoke from damaged equipment. Your Viridian paymasters won't save you now, Guerrera. Latvikan's freedom isn't for sale. Freedom? Guerrera laughed harshly. A fool's dream. Power is the only truth. He triggered a hidden switch. Panels on his armored gauntlets slid open, revealing mini rocket pods. And this is power! Rockets streaked towards Diwa. He threw himself backwards through the tent flap as the console he'd been behind vaporized in a fiery blast. He hit the sand rolling, coming up facing Guerrera, who had emerged, his black Valkyrie humming beside him. End of the line, Commander, Guerrera sneered, mounting his bike. Let's see how well you ride. The two leaders faced off amidst the chaos. The Goliath was pinned down by heavy fire near the entrance. Kara and Astral were weaving through the panels, dodging pursuing vehicles. Diwa knew a prolonged duel was suicide. He needed to end this fast. He gunned his Valkyrie straight at Guerrera. Both fired their bike lasers simultaneously. Beams crossed, superheating the air between them. Diwa jerked his handlebars at the last second, his bike sliding sideways in a spray of sand, his laser grazing Guerrera's shoulder armor. The Duke bellowed in pain and rage. It's over, Duke, Diwa said, and meant it. The clash was long and hard, but in the end, justice has always prevailed. Epilogue. Ashes and Dawn. The desert lay still, as if holding its breath. Where firestorms and machines once raged, only broken steel and drifting sands remained. The scars of battle stretched across the horizon, half swallowed by the shifting dunes. Commander Diwa stood at the ridge, his frame weathered by smoke and blood, but unbowed. The wind tugged at his coat, carrying with it the faint smell of ash. Behind him, Silas steadied his wire-rimmed glasses, wincing at his bruises while the others gathered in silence. They were battered, fractured, but alive. They had faced monsters born of shadow and men corrupted by hunger. They had fought in the skies, in the cannery depths, in the wastelands where survival itself was a rebellion. And somehow, they endured. Diwa's gaze followed the rising sun, pale against the wasteland sky. It isn't over, he said quietly, his voice low but steady. The others didn't answer. They didn't need to. Each of them understood. Survival was not victory, and peace was still far off. Far in the distance, a thin plume of smoke curled above the ruins of the Wilson cannery. A reminder that enemies would rise again, and wars had a way of returning. Yet as Diwa led the group down the ridge, their shadows stretched long across the sand, proof that they were still here, still fighting, still human. And in that fragile dawn, amid silence and ruin, hope endured.